right, ladies and gentlemen. Dave and Alex.
The Pop 10.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pop 10. This is number 6, and it is April 2017. I'm Dave.
And I'm James.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. I am beyond thrilled to have this guy join me. James and I, we usually get together on Sunday nights after The Walking Dead on the Walker Stalkers podcast. But if you don't know this guy, he is the founder of the Walker Stalkers podcast and, of course, Walker Stalker Con, and now Heroes and Villains Fan Fest, and then just the Fan Fest shows in general. It's really become its own world, and even fanfest.com, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But above all that, he's a hell of a guy, and he's my friend. Everybody, please help me welcome Mr. James Frazier.
Thanks. Listen to all those people clapping. Wow.
They're going nuts. James, I appreciate you joining me, and I couldn't think of anybody better when it comes to pop culture than to have you on this show. I think it makes sense.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm excited to be on with you.
And, I didn't get a chance to really say it on the last episode of the Walker Stalkers for the season, but I can't thank you enough for having me as your co-host on the Walker Stalkers. It's just so surreal for me listening to a podcast that I was a fan of. And going to, my first Walker Stalker Con was the third show ever in Boston, walking up to you, shaking your hand and saying, like, hi, I'm Dave, and then being a co-host on the Walker Stalkers. Absolutely surreal, man, and I can't thank you enough.
Well, you and I are a good fit. I kind of went through a couple other people, but you and I we've got a good chemistry, so yeah, you've earned it.
I appreciate it, and definitely excited for The Walking Dead to start back up and getting back to work on the Walker Stalkers podcast. But this is the Pop 10. It is our Pop 10 countdown about all things relevant in pop culture. And James, speaking of pop culture, your baby has evolved into fanfest.com, which is the number one source for all things pop culture. So how do the conventions and the podcast evolve into fanfest.com?
Yeah, well, I think we just realized that so much great content comes out of the conventions in terms of, panels and interviews and videos and news and art and just so much culture there that we wanted to find a way to capture it. And it was just a natural progression for us to move into a news outlet, but it's really going to turn into more of an entertainment outlet over time. And we're about to amp a lot of that up now that we've completed our television studio here in Tennessee. But it's just kind of the natural next step. It's going to be a place where we can take a lot of that news. And really, it was like everybody else was reporting from our own conventions, these great things that were happening or breaking. Yeah. And it's almost a secondhand source when they could actually just get it from us. So I think that's what FanFest News will ultimately be. It'll be a place where we can take all the convention content and put it out there for the rest of the world that can't attend.
And I think it's phenomenal for those folks. I mean, for myself, streaming from the live stage at our events and having the podcast up on FanFest, and also I've been contributing original content with the Pop 10 videos. I think it's a perfect marriage, and it's a great place for everyone to get their pop culture news and fix, if you will.
Sweet. I agree.
So without further ado, I know I'm itching to talk about pop culture. So let's go ahead and kick off this month's countdown for April 2017.
Number 10.
So James, Hulu has just announced that the new documentary Batman and Bill, it's going to drop on May 6th, is going to shed some new light on a long unknown collaborator on the Batman comic. So it's been long believed that Bob Kane is the guy solely responsible for Batman. But now we're learning that there was another artist, Bill Finger, who was also to credit for the Cape Crusader. So this documentary, it's based on the book Bill and the Boy Wonder by Mark Tyler Nobleman. And it's really about Finger's significant contribution to the character that we've all come to know and love, Batman. So what were your thoughts when you first heard this?
Okay, so this is actually really cool. First of all, that there is somebody else behind it. But now, how do you looking at Bob Kane, who everybody credits this to, now you kind of got to be like, dude, you were that guy. You were that guy who swindled away. That now, let me say this: it sounds like just this Bill guy really kind of just helped perfect everything, and not really was the creator, but still. Like a lot of great ideas, the idea is one thing. It's the collaboration with other people that kind of perfect the thing. It's but at the same time, Bill's kind of like the Beatle, the drummer that didn't make it into the band. He missed out. I mean, and probably his family's kicking themselves with all these Batman, the merchandise and toys and the revenue. Right. And here's Bill's, Bill the Wonder Boy, or Bill the Boy Wonder, I guess. But it's kind of a crazy story to be honest, because Batman really is the biggest thing in the comic world.
He really is, and I think this begs a couple questions for me. How many other superheroes or properties do we not know that there are other people behind? A, and B, at this point, to your point, is it kind of a disservice, to Bob Kane now at this point?
Bob Kane's dead, right? Didn't he recently pass away?
I believe so. I hope Bob Kane's not listening and he's alive, but I believe, he's gone.
Even if he is, like, Bob, dude, like, what the heck?
Right, man.
I mean, but at the same time, this other guy, Bill, I think he probably had a lot of time to kind of speak up about this.
Right.
It's not like Bob was just suppressing Bill or hiding him in a closet. I'm guessing Bill had a long time to speak up and say, hey, I had something to do with this here, and just never did. Or maybe did he just get paid? Right. And that's the thing. A lot of these guys, they were paid to draw, and whatever they came up with became property of Marvel or DC, and a lot of them never got credited for little ideas and story twists and things like that. It was just part of their duty. So, he might have been fine with that. I don't know. I'm interested in watching this.
I think it's going to be great. Yeah, and to have it on Hulu, I think is super cool. And this is definitely, the generation of Hulu and Netflix. And I just saw today for Netflix, there's going to be a film with Pacino and De Niro and Joe Pesci. And, it's TV is not TV anymore. And you don't have to go to the theater necessarily to see something this interesting. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be glued to it, and it sheds light on these kind of people. Like with, Mickey Mouse, you don't hear about Iwerks all too much. It's Disney. And I think people need that one iconic person to be behind something.
Agreed. Cool.
So as far as comics too, so that's Batman. Are you a huge Batman guy? Like, what is your comic of choice besides our obvious Walking Dead?
So I used to read comics like crazy when I was a kid, and actually Batman was my go-to. I actually loved the Detective Comics over the Batman comics. There's just something about that. It was a little bit darker, a little bit more mystery to it. I really loved like Clayface, and that's kind of when I got into it. I got into comics right when A Death in the Family dropped, where Joker kills Robin. Spoiler alert. Sorry, everybody. Right. But that's right when I got into comics. I was probably 9 or 10 years old, had a friend who loved them, and stayed at his house one time, and he wanted to go to the comic book store. So his family took him and bought a comic, and that's where I got into it, and had a huge box of Detective Comics and some Batman too. Never really was a big Marvel reader. But yeah, I think it was pretty much all detective, and I loved the kind of the what if. That was pretty much the only Marvel stuff I got into, like, all these variations of stories, like what if this didn't happen, or what if the Kingpin wasn't a bad guy. But yeah, Batman was it for me. Detective Comics was what I loved.
Nice. How do you feel about Ben Affleck as the new Batman? Incidentally,
I actually love him.
Yeah,
I think he's great. Yeah, I think he's an excellent Batman, and I'm a Michael Keaton Batman guy.
Yeah,
because that was also when I was about 10 years old. So that's my Batman. Now I've enjoyed, of course, the Christian Bale Batman movies have been phenomenal, but I really like Affleck. I think he portrays that older Batman really, really well, and I really enjoyed him. I'm hoping that the Batman standalone movie will happen,
Right.
and that, it'll be him, because gosh, I can't imagine us now moving on to another Batman after all this.
Right.
But yeah, I like Affleck. I really do. It's the other stuff that's a little bit sketchy, but really, I enjoyed the Batman versus Superman movie as well.
Huh. That's a whole different podcast in and of itself. But yeah, I'm on the fence. I'm a Marvel guy, but I'll tell you, I am.
See, go ahead.
No, you please.
Well, I was going to say, see, I watch these movies purely for entertainment value. The superhero movies are not award-winning flicks. They're not going to be like,
Right.
oh my gosh, that was the greatest story ever told. I go in with the idea, I just want to be entertained. I want to be that kid reading the comic book again and just enjoy the movie. And I did. And, there's been some other movies recently where I'm just like, it's all right. And truthfully, like all the Marvel movies, other than Guardians of the Galaxy, can you tell me what happened in, Thor 1, 2, 3, Captain America 1, 2, 3, Iron Man 1, 2, 3? Like, really, give me the plot lines. No, most people don't remember them. They just remember enjoying them. And I think that's, for me, what makes these superhero movies great, and why people are so behind them and why they do so well, is because they're just fun, and just take them for what they are.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's cool to also learn more about them in the story. So everybody, please, on May 6th, I know I'll be glued. I know James will be glued to Hulu. Batman and Bill is going to tell us all about Bill Finger. May 6th on Hulu. That's the Bat Time. That's the Bat Channel. Check it out.
Number 9.
James, are you a big fan of the viral videos on the YouTubes and the Facebooks?
Yeah, I love funny stuff, and I love the feel-good stuff. And with as many people that are in my house that there are with access to entertainment and internet, I see just about all of them. So I love a good video.
Yeah, and we've talked about some real doozies on this show, from Kazoo Kid to Sweet Brown. Ain't nobody got time for that. And those were some things that kind of hit accidentally. But this month we want to talk about crosswalk musicals, carpool karaoke. So James Corden, he may not be the number one late night host, but he continues to develop incredible content for a CBS show that has millions of people asking what he'll do next. So carpool karaoke, we're talking the Adele-ish episode at 155 million views. The crosswalk musicals are taking off. For those folks that don't know, carpool karaoke, he's with a celebrity, a singer, and they sing with him in his vehicle. I love the Iggy Azalea one because I love Iggy Azalea. And the new crosswalk musicals, he performs musicals in the middle of a crosswalk until the turn signal hits that they can't walk anymore. This stuff is ridiculous and funny.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
So he actually films where they film Talking Dead.
Oh.
And I immediately, when I saw the Beauty and the Beast one, and I immediately go, oh my gosh, I walked across that crosswalk because I recognized all the buildings in the back walking up to the studio. But it is so freaking busy right there. And I think that's what makes it even better too, is that they have to get across and perform, that
Right.
I don't know how long they got, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, maybe a minute tops, but it is awesome. And then of course, James Corden in a dress as Belle makes it even better. But the crosswalk videos are awesome, but really the thing that's putting him on the map is the carpool karaoke.
Yeah.
What I did not know is he's got a singing background. I think he's also in several other things where he has sung, before, but he performs really well with them. But the thing I think impresses me the most is dude's got to prepare on the songs and the lyrics
Right.
heading in. I mean, he's got to know exactly the songs they're going to sing and be able to go right along with them. But they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
They're great. And it's, the viral category is so huge, and the internet is full of sometimes negative things. And, I never really wanted to talk about, the Cash Me Outside girl on the show when it comes to viral, because I think it can be such a negative wasteland sometimes, but it's stuff like this
Sure.
that will just entertain us. And, we can take a break from the day and entertain us, and we can move on. And I think this guy is a genius. And the especially the carpool karaoke has become so popular. It's now a sketch on Apple Music, and it can just balloon into other things.
Yeah, well, it makes you smile.
Yeah.
They all do, and I think that's the thing is you can sing right along with them. You're smiling with them. You're laughing about it. It's kind of the stuff like if you were really comfortable with that celebrity and were able to do the songs with them, you would do it that way. And so that's what makes it awesome. And I think the other element that makes it really neat is you kind of see these celebrities kind of relax a little, and be silly about their own music, which you don't see, of course, when they're performing normally, and you don't usually see them when they're doing other interviews. So I think it's just all around, it's amazing. It's a genius idea.
Yeah, and I hope it keeps going and going. I think the sky's the limit, especially with crosswalk musicals. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. That's one thing I don't want to see. But I do want to see him continue. And the Beauty and the Beast one, like you mentioned, with Luke Evans, Dan Stevens, Josh Gad, and they were in their costumes. And I think the more folks we get involved, maybe we should do our own rendition at a Walker Stalker Con. We'll get out there and do something.
I'm all for it.
All right, done and done.
There you go.
Crosswalk, Walking Dead scene, maybe.
Yeah. Do it quick. I don't know. You're chasing people with guns across a crosswalk in the wrong neighborhood.
I think we have
It'll
our
go
new
viral, but not in the way we want it to.
Yeah, fair enough. I got enough of those out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure if you haven't seen them, you must live under a rock. But get out from under that rock. Check out Carpool Karaoke, Crosswalk Musicals on YouTube right now.
Number 8.
This month, we're revisiting food. And we're not talking about so much a dish that you can consume, like at Fat Ones. You can grab a hot dog. This is a beverage, the Starbucks Unicorn Frappuccino, right? They broke their stores with their limited time only Unicorn Frappuccino. And it was like a unicorn, an elusive mythical creature. Stores could not keep up with the demand for this flavor-changing, color-changing, totally not a made-up unicorn Frappuccino. I know our good friend Nick Floyd had one. James, did you get a chance to grab one?
I did not. And thank God, or my diabetes probably would have kicked in. Dude, it's unreal. So the large one, 79 carbs, 18 grams of fat, and there's no actual coffee or caffeine in it. It's like a death wish. I mean, it really is. I heard it didn't even taste that great.
Right. It was all for nothing.
Yeah, but no. Did you try it?
I didn't, for the reason I looked at the nutritional value or lack thereof, and I'm like a no carbs during the week type of guy. And when I looked at that, I said, "Oh, that would just be horrendous." And it didn't look that good. And like you said, no caffeine. What's the point? But I mean, marketing genius on the part of Starbucks. People went insane for this.
Yes, it is a marketing. They just got everybody. I mean, it's unreal how they got everybody, because everybody I've spoke to that had one didn't like it and thought it was not good. I guess like there's a certain layer. They were layered flavors, and there was one particular layer that tasted like bubblegum Pepto-Bismol.
Ooh. And
I'm just like, I couldn't do that. Yeah, it's not for me. It's not for me. But I think it's it's kind of like the word Chipotle.
Right.
Like the word unicorn is the thing right now. It's like one of those phrases like, "Oh, that's my unicorn," or
Right.
I think that's really just all this is. They're capitalizing on a word, and they probably crushed it. I know the one here next to my house, they ran out in 24 hours of the mix to make it. So, yeah, it's genius. It really is.
So do you think we're going to see more things like this now, not only from Starbucks, but from other places? And do you think this is starting a pretty bad trend?
Well, I think the crazy thing is that this isn't a new trend. McDonald's has the Shamrock Shake, and Burger King does chicken fries or Cheeto fries, so all these places kind of have these gimmicky foods. It's just amazing that Starbucks, the coffee place, got into the gimmick food business. But not only did they get a massive amount of attention, but they probably made a massive amount of money
Oh yeah.
off of this as well. So it is a complete win for them. It's amazing. It really is genius.
And they've set themselves up now to say, a couple months down the road, the unicorn frappuccino is back, and people are going to go insane, and
or find the unicorn.
Yeah, right.
Anytime in April, and people will go every day.
Yeah.
And that's the way I would do it. Is it's saying May, it'll be back, but you'll have to find it, and then people will go every day.
Right.
And when it's not there, they'll probably still end up buying, a cup of coffee or another frappuccino because they'll be wanting something sweet. So
yeah,
it's brilliant.
What's your drink of choice at Starbucks? Do you have a go-to, or do you like to mix it up?
I do. I'm a grande Americano, black, nothing, no room,
Ooh,
just straight up. But truthfully, that's I'm back in shape and
right.
cutting it out. I really do like a skinny caramel macchiato. That's kind of my drink.
You are hardcore, James Frazier. Let me tell you. I'm a
Jeez.
white chocolate mocha type of guy. I like the whipped cream.
I love those.
Yeah, just turn it up a little bit.
Actually, a peppermint white mocha.
Ooh, speak of my
get
language.
Addicted to those pretty quick. Yeah.
Hey, I turned my nose at this unicorn frappuccino, but I'll tell you right now, if they had some kind of zombie frappuccino, I would have to be there and take pictures on social media too. So
of course,
everybody's got their thing, right?
Yep.
But ladies and gentlemen, it is gone. I hope you had the opportunity to grab a Starbucks unicorn frappuccino. If not, please keep your eyes peeled to all Starbucks social media because I guarantee it'll be back.
Number 7.
There's a lot of things I fear, but I'm not sure that I fear The Walking Dead. June 4th, we're coming back for Season 3. And not only that, we've heard confirmation that Season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead has already been ordered. And just to get everybody up to speed, our families will be brought back together in the vibrant and violent echo tone of the U.S.-Mexico border. So Madison, played by Kim Dickens, has reconnected with Travis, a.k.a. Cliff Curtis, her partner in this apocalypse. But Alicia has been fractured by the murder of Andres. I'm just going to stop. Nick is going crazy, and James, Fear the Walking Dead is coming back. What are your thoughts?
This is like an SNL skit, right?
It feels that way.
Oh, wait. No, this is real? This is a real show?
It's a real show.
Oh. Yeah, so here's my thing on Fear the Walking Dead. And yeah, I think you and I have talked about this before. Mm-hmm. And I'm stealing. Yeah. I'm not going to say who I'm stealing this phrase from or this concept from, but who do you want to have a beer with on Fear the Walking Dead? And the answer is nobody. There's not one character on the show that I am intrigued by, that I think has depth, that I don't understand. I don't care about the characters on the show, and they blew the opportunity for this show to be great by skipping the first 2 weeks of the apocalypse after the first day or hours.
Yeah.
They just blew it. That's what the show should have been. It should have been the apocalypse from the start. It should have been everything falling apart, watching Los Angeles burn to the ground. But they don't know what they are. And they don't know what they are because they're now getting ready to go through a new showrunner. They're bringing Scott Gimple on as an executive producer, and I think they're doing that because they need some guidance.
Yeah.
And I mean, personally, I like Robert Kirkman a lot. I love The Walking Dead, but I don't need Scott Gimple now having to focus on Fear the Walking Dead as well. I need Scott Gimple focusing on The Walking Dead.
Right.
And I don't need Greg Nicotero as an executive producer on Fear the Walking Dead having to pay attention. I need him on Walking Dead. Like, don't dilute the product of the flagship show. If they would have had their shit together with this one, and I apologize if I just cursed on
shit's good.
But okay, if they would have had it together with this show, it would have been one thing. But I think it was rushed, and now they're already going with season 4, and really it's just because AMC doesn't have anything else that gets better viewings than this. But it's not a good product. It's not even a decent reflection of the Walking Dead itself. So I'm passing. I'm not going to watch this. And I'm not going to go back and watch it. I tried with I did all season 1. I tried with season 2. I tried with the end of season 2. It's just not. It's not going to happen. And that just, it just kills me. It really does.
I wanted to love this. You know, if there's anything that I wanted to love, it's Fear the Walking Dead, and I can't. I think there's been some cool things in it. I'm a big fan of Cliff Curtis. I loved him in Training Day. I think Coleman Domingo as Strand, he's a cool character in the show, but I wouldn't mind seeing him on The Walking Dead. I think he would be cool on there, but the whole Mexico thing, you know, I'm not feeling it, and I'm going to give it another shot in season 3, just out of loyalty, I would say. But the one thing that I was really thinking about when we were preparing for this podcast was, I think about one of my favorite shows of all time, Breaking Bad, and I think about Better Call Saul now, which is in the same universe, and how well done that show is. And the fact that I think there could be a companion series to The Walking Dead, and it could be done well. I don't know if this will ever be it, nor do I know if we'll ever attempt it again. Do you think is there anything in your brain that could fix this?
Blowing them all up on one of those boats,
starting
over starting with a new show. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. They missed it. They had such the opportunity to do it and do it right, and I really thought they were going to. Man, that moment where they drove by that hospital in season 1, and it was falling apart, and people were dying, and you know, you couldn't tell if somebody was real or a walker. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you go to like the next episode, and it's been 2 weeks, and they're in some, you know, little suburban place outside of LA, and it's just like, dang, that was it. That was the moment.
Yeah.
And that's what they build it as too. They build the show that it was going to be. We weren't going to know how the virus started, but it was going to be the start of the zombie apocalypse. But then they didn't show any of it. They just showed the first few hours, and then that was it. And so I think that moment really angered me. And then once they're sitting around in a neighborhood, and you don't even see but maybe a half dozen walkers the whole season, it's really difficult to get behind a show like that. And the characters at that point, and they might be better now, but at that point they weren't intriguing at all,
right?
And they weren't come season 2. So it's just it's one big disappointment to me.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that they can pull the nose of the plane up. And like you said, Nicotero, Gimple, keep them on The Walking Dead, because as we learned anything from season 7, when there was a little dip, you know, with 7A. 7B pulled it up, but that's where we need our attention, because this is the show that needs to go on forever, and that's why Fear is a companion series, you know, to the Big Brother. So we'll see what happens. June 4th, it's coming back. I'm going to give it another shot, ladies and gentlemen. It's up to you. I implore you to give it another shot as well. And while you're waiting, watch Better Call Saul, which I think is a fantastic show, and let us know what you think about that as well. James, we have a lot to fear, and it looks like we're going to continue to fear The Walking Dead.
Number 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, fire up your go-karts, because Mario Kart is back with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Launches April 28th, couple days away as we record this. 42 characters, including 2 new characters from Splatoon, and then also my favorite, Link from The Legend of Zelda, on a pretty badass motorcycle. 48 racing courses. 23 power-up items to choose from. You can have dual power-up items. You can play your friends in local wireless multiplayer. It's coming out for the Nintendo Switch. Mario Kart. I grew up on Mario Kart, and I absolutely love it. And James, I hope you love it too.
We are super excited. It is on my Amazon Prime to be delivered here on Friday. Nice. And our family is ready for another game to play on the Switch. We are the battle for Legend of Zelda's Time, which is really the only game.
Right.
We did buy the Switch games, the ones where people like act like they're shooting each other and
Right.
stuff, and that lasted about a day in our house. So really, we are looking forward to playing something other than Legend of Zelda. Although Zelda has been great,
Amazing.
we are looking forward to something else in this house to do, and actually picked up another set of controllers this week in anticipation of being able to, for more of us to play together. But I can't wait for this.
Mario Kart is a staple, and if you and I are the same age, and if you're our age, when we played it on Nintendo 64 and Super Nintendo and the Wii and the Wii U, and it continues to dominate. I mean, I predict that this game is going to sell a gajillion copies, and I agree with you. Zelda Breath of the Wild is phenomenal. Probably my favorite Nintendo game ever released, and Zelda is my thing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the portability. I think the portability of the Switch helps me because I'm always on a plane. I'll be on a plane tonight.
Yeah.
Have a console in the palm of your hand. What's better than that?
That's what sold me on this, because we did not buy the Wii U here this time.
Okay.
Kind of just wasn't impressed with the latest Nintendo offerings. But when we saw the teaser video for this Switch system, I immediately figured out how to pre-order it, and went over to Walmart and got on the pre-order list. But it was it's awesome. I mean, you're exactly right that you can actually take it with you, and it's the same exact game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the cool part about it, and it's crazy in this world, in this technology, that's just now happening.
Right.
You would think everybody else would have figured this out, but I love it, and my boys love it. They have a great time with it.
And this is how Nintendo continues to stay relevant, with new concepts and leaning on what got them to the dance. Their Marios, their Zeldas, and that's what I love about Nintendo. And I can't wait for this game to come out. Now, video games in general, James, what's your favorite video game of all time, or your favorite franchise, or a go-to that you always have?
Yeah. Okay. So my favorite video game, I have two. I love GoldenEye.
Yeah.
GoldenEye. Oh, like I have, as an adult, I have twice bought a Nintendo 64 system just to keep playing GoldenEye.
Yep.
So GoldenEye is my game, and I wish somebody else could figure out how to modify an Xbox controller to play 64 games, because that Nintendo 64 joystick is a bear to play if you have not played it in a really long time, because it is just not logical in function. But really, I loved the original handful of Zelda games. I played them forever. But as a grown up, Halo 2, and when they did all the online stuff, I played that game till like 3-4 in the morning, over and over and over and over. I loved that game. But GoldenEye is my favorite all time.
And GoldenEye, that changed multiplayer gaming. I remember playing it on the 64 with my Rumble Pack and that giant controller. And that changed multiplayer gaming at all. And I dare I say, would we have the Halo 2s and the Gears? I'm a huge Halo guy. I'm a huge Gears guy. Would we have those the way we have them without that game? So really good calls. It makes me want to play it too. And a friend of mine knows about emulators on MacBooks and using PlayStation controllers and stuff. So I'll hook you up with a friend of mine, James, and we can.
Cool. That'd be awesome.
They can work that out. So Drew Powell loves doing it. Just saying. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, April 28th. If you don't have a Switch, go get one. You can get the bundle with Mario Kart, 2 birds, 1 stone. And I cannot wait for this. It's going to be amazing. James and I will play together. We'll put it on YouTube. How's that, James?
All for it. Let's do it.
Everybody, hashtag Team James or Team Dave. We'll see who wins on April 28th.
Number 5.
Now, if you're like me, you like technology, you like the cellular telephones, and this month has brought us the launch of Samsung's Galaxy S8, this sleek new mobile device. It's giving the iPhone a run for its money already, 2 days after release, 3 days after release. Not only is it full of cool features, but it has a gorgeous design. So it has the world's first infinity screen that's corner to corner. It has Bixby, which is an intelligent interface. So it's Siri-esque. A whole new VR experience, great security features, and it's hopefully going to fix the errors of the Note 7, which had some issues catching on fire. James, you're an iPhone guy, are you not?
I am, and you sound like my grandmother. I love the cellular phones. I just love the cellular phones. Yeah, I'm an iPhone guy from day one. Although I can and truly do appreciate the Galaxy. It's hard once you invest into these phones and the music behind them and the media. You're stuck. I mean, I have a Samsung television. Actually, I think every TV in my house is a Samsung. They make great stuff until it blows up. But the phone, they make a beautiful phone, and I love the VR component.
Yeah,
I think that is like the part that I'm most jealous of with the comparison to the iPhone is all the VR stuff, because it's just going to become more prevalent with time. So I wish that was available on the iPhone, and unfortunately it's not. But it looks, and it sounds awesome. Phones are great, and I probably look at mine way too much.
I hear you. Oh, I always have a cord handy and my anchor to charge my phone up because I'm always on it, blowing stuff up. But with what we do, you kind of have to, right? The social medias drain the battery.
Yeah.
But
you're right.
But what you said was really interesting, and makes me wonder, do people get upset in a way that they're a slave, for lack of a better word, to these devices? Because with iOS, like you said, you invest all that money into iTunes and everything you buy. You have an Apple, like if you have an Apple Watch, even further. Let's say if somebody came to you tomorrow, James, and said everything that you have invested for Apple, all the music, I can get over to you for Android. Would you give like something like the S8 a test run?
I would. I really would.
Yeah.
Because I've really been unimpressed with the last versions of the iPhone. It's just a sleeker phone with pretty much the same capability. I do like the new cameras on the iPhone 7, but beyond that, everything is pretty much the same thing. Although, I think I held an iPhone 2 the other day, and I was just like, oh my gosh, forgot how tiny and bulky they were. But I would totally give it a shot. The thing is when I look at my iTunes media, when I go on my Apple TV and look at how many movies I own and the music I own, that's you're stuck, and they know that. They know that you can't just jump over. So I'm probably an Apple guy for life, especially given the fact that I love my MacBook. Yeah,
and I'm a big fan of Apple for computing. iPad, I have a Mac Mini, I have a MacBook Air. When it comes to phones, I'm just an Android fan. There's more customization, and there's a lot of apps now that are available for both. You can even get the Apple Music app on an Android phone now. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's and I think everybody kind of has to open up. All these companies rather need to open up the ability for cross pollination if they they want people to still get a piece of their pie. So the Galaxy S8, it looks phenomenal, and again, Samsung really needs this after the Note 7. Blow up. See what I did there? Blow up is a pun. But if you like James's grandmother, if you like the cellular phones, go out right now and grab yourself a Galaxy S8.
Number 4.
Aliens, Predators, and Clowns, oh my. We're talking horror, and some fan favorites are coming back. We're talking Alien Covenant, The Predator, and Pennywise from It. They're all coming back. We'll start off with Alien Covenant, May 19th. It returns to Ridley Scott's universe, and it's a new chapter in the groundbreaking Alien franchise. The crew of the colony ship Covenant, bound for a remote planet on the far side of the galaxy, discovers what they think is an uncharted paradise, but it's actually a dark, dangerous world, and of course there'll be aliens. The Predator got pushed a little bit to August of 2018. Olivia Munn will be in it. I like her. And, of course, It. We've all seen the teaser pictures. We saw the teaser trailer. Pennywise is coming back from Stephen King's classic on September 8th, 2017. And it stars Bill Skarsgård and Finn Wolfhard. Mike from Stranger Things. James, are you as excited as I am about this triad of creepy things coming back at us?
I am. sometimes the complaint is coming up with new ideas, but these are all really good ones. Now, I will say, like, the Alien versus Predator and kind of the later Predator stuff wasn't solid, but Alien, man, it's got a great opportunity to kind of revamp here and reboot. But I hear, though, there's a lot of Prometheus connections to it. And see, I actually enjoyed Prometheus, but I think a lot of the diehard Alien people did not enjoy it as much. But man, of these three, though, it is the one that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see, because it freaks me out just to watch the trailer. It is, I don't get scared, and that is just, it's messed up. The whole thing is messed up, and it freaks me out just terribly. It really does. Clowns are ruined for me because of this movie.
Are you a calorophobic? Do you have calorophobia in general, or is it just Pennywise that shakes you?
Yeah, I guess calorophobic. Yes, yeah. I'm going to go with that. Now, I know, like, if I'm at like the circus, we're good. But just walking around, if some dude is in a clown costume, like, that's just not right.
No.
This thing, last year in North and South Carolina, where people were hiding in the woods dressed as clowns.
Yeah.
That's, first of all, scary. Second of all, stupid idea for that guy, because they're lucky they didn't get shot, because if there was a guy standing in my backyard in a clown costume, I'm shooting him. I'm just going to shoot him. But yeah, Pennywise, oh my gosh, it's so messed up. It's so messed up.
Yeah, but he looks great, and that was one of my chief concerns, because
he does.
Horror is my life. On Walker Nation, that's all we talk about is Walking Dead and horror, and I was so nervous. Tim Curry obviously nailed it. He's Tim Curry. He's a legend, and we grew up with that miniseries of It, so I was so nervous. But man, does he look phenomenal, and I think they nailed it.
Oh, he's scary. Like this morning at breakfast, my son's on YouTube watching videos. And, to the right, they have like the suggested videos for whatever you're watching. And for some reason, he's watching Peppa Pig. And on the right, there is a picture of Pennywise.
Oh, no.
And he's like, he's like, scary clown. I'm like, yeah. I'm like flipping through to get him to the next video to make a thing go away.
Right.
But, oh, man, if my 4-year-old knows that thing's scary and he has no reason at all to think clowns should be scary, it's messed up. It's wrong.
It is, but I'm glad that they're paying the attention to detail. There's a great YouTube video that shows a trailer for the original It miniseries next to this one, and it's almost shot for shot, and that's what I love.
It is.
When they play homage. That's what I love.
Yeah, no, that was cool. I saw that too.
And Predator, I'm a huge Predator fan. I love the original. We're talking Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jesse the Body Ventura, Carl Weathers. That's a classic. I've enjoyed.
Great.
Yeah, and I enjoyed AVP. Were you a fan of Alien versus Predator when they did that?
It was okay. It just wasn't. I mean, it was entertaining, but it wasn't. It wasn't as good as its predecessors. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think nostalgia does sell, but I also think that people are becoming more and more aware. These companies are becoming more and more aware that if they just continue to crank out, just a different iteration, a rebooty, that it's not going to capture people's attention. So I'm really hoping that Alien Covenant kills it, and I know it will. But Predator getting pushed back made me a little nervous. But it's a good time to be a horror sci-fi fan, I think. Is there any? We talked about this this week on Walker Nation podcast about our top 10 horror franchises. Is there a particular horror franchise that you love?
Oh, I love the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
Yes.
Freddy Krueger, man. Fourth grade, I went dressed as Freddy, and I just remember that latex mask and the claw, and just or the glove, and it was just awesome walking around like that. And of course, seeing Robert now grown up at our events. But Nightmare on Elm Street was just messed up. The thing about just falling asleep and not being in control, and that you could die in your dream and then you die in real life, that was now my parents didn't let me watch that stuff.
Right.
So we would have to sneak it. And and then a couple years later, it was Faces of Death.
God.
We go up to the Blockbuster, and we'd steal some. We would we would swipe out a Faces of Death tape.
VHS.
I don't know how we were able to get away with it, but we did over and over and over again, and watch those things. And still to this day, I don't know if any of that stuff's real or not.
Most of it's proven not to be.
Yeah.
But I remember
Thank
those
God,
two. Yeah,
there was some bad stuff. Yeah.
And kids can see horrendous shit on the internet now. So like they don't even need to sneak Faces of Death.
Yes.
You know, that's tame.
They don't.
It's like Saturday morning cartoons compared to it. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, incidentally, even though our countdown wasn't in any particular order, but it was in a particular order, that was number one. And, I think back to 2 Atlantas ago that I got to interview Robert for the first time on Halloween, and that kind of blew my mind. And he's phenomenal. He's great. I can't wait until this documentary coming out for Friday the 13th. So I cannot wait to watch that. I also cannot wait for the return of Aliens, Predators, and Clowns. Say it with me, James. Oh my. They're coming back at you, folks.
Number 3.
In sports this month, we're talking about the life and unfortunate times of former Patriots tight end, New England Patriots, that is, Aaron Hernandez. So, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, Aaron Hernandez just committed suicide, serving his life sentence for the 2013 murder of Odin Lloyd. He was found hung by his bed sheets in his prison cell with all kinds of stuff jammed up against the door, after just being found not guilty of a 2012 Boston double homicide. Incidents like these, James, I think they're a good reminder that the role model that athletes kind of find themselves as during their careers, and how they should be cognizant of that. What's your whole take? What are you willing to say about this situation?
So, all right, I'm a Florida State Seminole. Aaron Hernandez is a Florida Gator.
Okay.
So I am going to come from a little bit of a point of bias here, although I deeply admire Tim Tebow. I think he's a wonderful human being. Aaron Hernandez, however, was not. And, even though he was not convicted of this recent double murder, he was still associated with it, and, of course, was convicted of killing somebody else. He's just not a good guy. That said, I don't like to see anybody take their own life. I'm not for the death penalty. I don't believe that, I don't believe in an eye for an eye. I believe that there at least needs to be some forgiveness. I mean, somebody can live out their life in jail. That's terrible in and of itself. But I think the greater thing here is it's sad. It's another loss of life. And I believe he has children too. And so, it's already difficult enough for that child, or would have been, to have their father, living in prison for the rest of their lives, but then now to just lose them altogether. I really feel for the child. So it's not a good thing. But to me, I don't know how all this stuff always happens. And sometimes it's amazing to me that we know that people hang themselves in prison and do these things. So I don't get why the equipment or the tools or resources are available to them in order to do this.
Right.
And you would think that coming right off of this, you would think he would be on some sort of additional watch. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he is kind of a celebrity status, he would have a little bit more attention being paid to him. So it's almost amazing that this happened even to begin with.
Yeah, this is definitely not the first time this has happened in a prison. So, when are they going to get to the point where, like you said, the tools are not going to be available? And overall, absolutely. I'm from New England. I'm from Massachusetts, so I saw it on the news every single night from the time it happened in 2012, in 2013. So yeah, it's a loss, like you said, to his family. Horrible situation, but doesn't describe all athletes. There are some athletes out there that just do fantastic things. Is there an athlete, James, that you've admired that's handled the spotlight with grace and responsibility?
Well, I will say Tebow. I mean, and not you can set aside the Christianity portion, and just on the sheer level of scrutiny the guy gets, and just how kind he is and charitable he is, and just the way he sets himself. I mean, really take out the Christianity aspect. The guy is a great human being, does a lot for people, and is a great example that he's He's trying to live his life out and do the things he wants to achieve. But there are a lot of great athletes. One that really sticks out to me is Work Dunn, who used to play for the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think he just gave away his over 100th home to single moms with kids. Builds these houses and then gives them to these families mortgage free. And to me, that's an achievement. That's amazing.
Absolutely. That's
How
what
about you?
I'm not a huge sports guy in general. But being from Boston, I love my Boston teams. And I'm a huge fan of Big Papi, David Ortiz. I think he's a guy that's done it right. Numerous charities. And he's a guy that stood up for us after the Boston Marathon bombing. I still love the speech he gave on the field when he said, "This is our effing city." And it's somebody that takes pride in the city, much like you described, that I really loved. Also, a big fan. I had an opportunity to give a scholarship alongside Ty Law, former New England Patriot Ty Law. Really, really great guy. Also a charitable guy. So I think that's what, folks should be using celebrity for. And notoriety for, and everybody, these sports, figures, they're human too, and that's what Aaron Hernandez shows us, and I think that's what some of these, that's what Tebow shows us as well. And everybody should just try to be a good human.
Agreed.
Number 2.
April is bringing us so many gems, and I think the one that I'm looking forward to almost as much as Mario Kart, if not more, is the brand new album Humans with a Z. From the Gorillaz with a Z. It's hitting April 28th. We've already had some drops of a few tracks. You can see them on YouTube if you subscribe to Spotify and whatnot. You've already heard some amazing tracks from them. They are unbelievable. I love the Gorillaz. The Gorillaz is a concept band it's you don't have to see the people to really feel and enjoy the music. And I cannot wait for this. Are you a Gorillaz fan at all, James?
So I enjoy their music. I'm not like, I don't think I've ever owned a Gorillaz CD. I do know that a few of their songs have been downloaded by some of my kids, which tells you that they have longevity there. But yeah, I never really got into it. I do, however, appreciate the genius that was with their, the music video concept along with their music, that kind of made them big. I don't even know what the singers or the musicians behind the band actually look like. But you remember with this band, or at least I do, is the fact of the cartoon with the visuals, I guess, with the music. And that's not often the case these days anymore.
No, this band was created in 98. That's the year I graduated high school, 98. The same for you, I think?
Mm-hmm. 97.
97, okay. Yep. So you're the old guy. That's cool. But I graduated high school in 98, and Damon Albarn from Blur fame. Blur is real famous for that song 2 that you hear at sporting events all the time. And artist Jamie Hewlett. And they created this band with these cartoon characters, 2D Murdoch, Noodle, and Russ, to kind of represent, the band and give everybody, really a sensory experience. And they have, cartoons and stories. My daughter, who's 13, absolutely adores them. They're hitting the road in July, and this album is dropping. And I encourage you to go, if you have Apple Music or Spotify, James, listen to some of the new tracks from Humans. Really cool, different, which is what I like about them. Different. And everybody needs to download the Gorillaz app too, because that's super cool VR stuff. And get Humans when it drops on the 28th. As far as music in general here for the Pop 10, James, who are your go-to artists or bands, or who will you always listen to? Who do you have playlists for?
Well, I think my dude right now is Eric Church. So that's a country artist for all of you out there.
I didn't know who that was.
Yeah, I love me some Eric Church. But I grew up in a house with the Beatles and Pink Floyd, and the Stones and all these other bands playing. That's what my dad listened to. So it's kind of always the fallback. Not meaning like, oh, if I'm gonna, it's just like, oh, I don't know what to listen to, and I kind of always find myself going back to those albums. I'm just a huge country music fan. It's kind of my thing, and it went through a really dark period here a couple years ago with bro country, but it seems to be coming back out of that period and back to some real authentic country music, and not like the twangy stuff, but just good songwriting and music again. Not something that sounds like the Backstreet Boys, which I love the Backstreet Boys, but that shouldn't be country music.
Right.
They're very different. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I like. But man, I love some Bruno Mars. I love The Weeknd. I listen to a lot of different stuff, but country's kind of like the bulk of what I listen to.
Okay, I got to play some country music on the live stage for you, had I known. And also, shout out to James Frazier Sr. as well on that one. Love that guy. Yeah, so country. I used to listen to Garth Brooks. Does that count? Is that good?
That counts.
That counts.
That gets you some cred. Yep.
He's timeless, that guy. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Gorillas are back. Humans drops April 28th. Please download the app right now for the Humans House Party. You will not regret it.
Number 1.
Hitting theaters technically May 4th. Thursday, May 4th, that is, but May 5th for everyone else. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is coming out. It is the follow-up to the hit Guardians of the Galaxy from Marvel, and starring Chris Pratt, Michael Rooker, Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel as Baby Groot, and the list goes on and on. James, I know how much you love Guardians of the Galaxy, so how pumped are you for Volume 2?
Super pumped. So Guardians is my favorite Marvel movie by far, and it's probably my most favorite. Well, it's probably my most favorite movie in a long time, to be quite honest. I just love it. It was so much fun and so much different than everything else, and it was Chris Pratt's kind of breakout. Although he's been around for forever, it's just so good. It's the movie that I could be sitting here right now and it could be playing and I could watch it again and it would draw my attention. I just love everything about Guardians, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to Guardians 2.
And who was your favorite character? Who did you really dislike from the first movie?
I didn't dislike anybody.
No?
I thought they were. No, I loved it. I loved everything about this. I from Michael Rooker, Karen Gillan, everybody was just awesome in this movie. The whole thing. It's just the music, the laughs, the touchy feely moments at the end with Groot. It was just so well done, and I've heard that this next one is equally as good. I mean, it may not be like exactly the same, but it's good in its own right. And I hear Michael Rooker like flat out steals the show in the second one, and I'm excited to see that for him.
He tends to be the center of attention sometimes.
Sometimes
when he's around. But yeah, this, I think the beauty of the first one for me was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It allowed me to breathe because we're so focused, with the Captain Americas and the Iron Mans of getting the story right and having it be accurate to this, that, and the other thing. Nobody knew a ton about Guardians. And they changed some things up because Yondu in the comics is almost like Native American type of feel. So they've switched some things up, but it allowed us to breathe and to see, cool stuff with the Collector. And as much as I love Baby Groot and I love Groot, I fell in love with Rocket Raccoon, and I think he was a breath of fresh air in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
And
no, it's just good. And you're exactly right. I mean, it's so nice to not have to watch Peter Parker become Spider-Man for the fifth time. Right. You watched a movie learning as you went through it. And yes, I'm sure there's those diehard Marvel guys out there who knew everything about Star-Lord, but for the 99% of the audience that didn't, it was just nice to watch a superhero movie, and I put it in air quotes because it's not your typical set of superheroes, which I think makes it what it is as well. You're just able to enjoy it and watch the story as it unfolds. And again, that goes back to how I watch most of these superhero movies. I'm watching them out of pure enjoyment. Yeah. I'm not sitting there going, damn, that's not like the comics. Oh, Captain America should have died. It's the end of Civil War. Although it probably would have made that movie better, by the way. You enjoy them for what they are, and I think everybody will appreciate them much more.
And I think it begs to make the point of these are, like you said, they're for enjoyment. What they are. Civil War. If you're a Marvel comic fan, that was not Civil War. That shouldn't have been called Civil War, in my opinion.
No.
And the tiny little parallels they tried to make with the mother whose son died and the thing, and that was not Civil War. Is it cool to watch Iron Man and Captain America fight? Hell yeah, all day, twice on Sunday.
Yes,
but that's not Civil War.
He should have died.
Yeah, he should have
died.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think Guardians is obviously a huge moneymaker for them. We see dancing baby Groots everywhere, and that's cool.
Oh yeah.
But above all, I just want to see it continue the fun we had in the first one, and then obviously it's setting up Infinity War, which we'll see some of these characters in again as well. So I think anytime, like The Walking Dead, I think Guardians is like pizza, right? Even when it's bad, it's good. And I know I'll be there. You're gonna be there opening night?
Oh yeah, we're planning everything. I'm actually gonna go see it on Cinco de Mayo.
Nice.
I'm gonna be wearing my Star-Lord jacket and a sombrero.
Okay, now this has to be on social media. Pictures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
And Rob Pryor just painted a pretty awesome Star-Lord picture.
Yes, he did. I'm excited to go get it and get it framed and put it with the other two. I love Rob Pryor's work, and so it's Rob Pryor and my favorite movie. So I'm thrilled.
Absolutely, that's got to go in the living room. I know I put my Joker right up in the living room. That's where it goes. Everyone needs to see it. And everyone needs to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in theaters everywhere. May 5th, everybody put on a Star-Lord jacket and a sombrero on Cinco de Mayo and go see Peter Quill do his thing with his Guardian buddies. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have enjoyed this Pop 10 for April 2017. James, what a blast it was having you on the Pop 10, man. Thanks so much.
Dude. Thank you. I love talking this stuff. Thanks for having me, man.
It's sometimes it's good to get a break from talking zombies and just horror and pop culture. And pop culture is your thing, right? Where can people see more of you on the social medias and online?
Well, if they want to look at my beautiful face, they can follow me on Instagram. I post lots of selfies and very revealing photos.
Nice.
Of course, I'm on Twitter. Talking politics, religion, and a lot of moral and ethical issues. And then that's at James A. Frazier. And then if you just want some watered down stuff, Snapchat, of course, I'm on there. I don't know how do you say your QR code? I don't know. Go find it. Yeah, but seriously, I'm out there. In moments, I go on streaks. I'll post and post and post and post, and then I'll go into hiding for a couple days. That's how I typically handle social media.
It's a good method, and everybody needs to check it out. I know you're always on there answering the questions about the conventions, and that's always appreciated from everybody in that community. And also, you can see James at the majority of our conventions. Heroes and Villains Fan Fest London is right around the corner. I won't be there, unfortunately, but James, you will be, correct?
Yeah, I get to go to this one. I'm excited.
It's going to be great. And then, of course, Walker Stalker Con comes home to Nashville in the first weekend of June. Can't wait. I'll be there. James will be there. Hopefully, we'll be on stage at some point together. That's always a good time.
Yep.
And I cannot wait again for next season of Walking Dead, so we can fire up the Walker Stalker podcast again.
I'm excited about it. Hopefully, it can only go up, I think.
We really set the bar, just midway this past season. We were like, let's go out there.
We did. They're like, let's just do it, and then next year we can do it better.
Right. By the last episode, people were acknowledging me, so that was a win. I was pretty happy about that. And for more information, everybody, please go to fanfest.com, of course, walkerstalkercon.com, and come out and see us at a convention. I think it'll be super rad.
Please do.
Again, James, thanks so much for joining me here, everybody.
Thank you, bud.
For more of this podcast and blogs, please visit thepop10, that's a number 10.com, and maybe we'll have James guest blog. Are you a good blogger, James?
I don't know if my fingers still know how to type things.
Can dictate it with Siri, I think. But and again,
there you go.
In all seriousness, James, I thank you for joining us, but I want to thank you for what you've done for me. And starting out with, I was just media at Walker Stalker Con. I was a guy with a podcast and a media pass. and in a lot of respects, not only hiring me, but you've taken me under your wing and helped me grow as a professional and as a human being, man. And I really can't thank you enough for that.
Well, Dave, I think the world of you, and you've earned everything that you've achieved, and I hope it keeps going well for you.
Thanks, man, and I can't wait to see you again. Ladies and gentlemen, go to fanfest.com, thepop10.com, and say hello to both James and myself. And I'll be back next month with another guest co-host, and we'll see you in May right here on the Pop 10.